This is Switched On.
Hello and welcome back to the Switched On podcast. This is your host, Akshay Koti Bhaskar, and for those of you who are new, this podcast is dedicated to those who find themselves struggling with the ominous task of choosing a career. Regardless of whether you're one of those people or not, and if you would like to ease the process of figuring out what career is truly right for you, or simply gain a more knowledgeable and informed perspective, look no further. Every session will present a different job from a different sector, and explore exactly what each job entails, as well as the required interests to work in the field. Today we have a very special guest coming from Netflix, which is headquartered in California, and is a company centered around their excellent entertainment services, as I'm sure you all know. Our guest today is Shalini Khatwani, the Director of Payments for Netflix in APAC, Asia Pacific. Shalini began a career in consulting, where she built a strong foundation of business strategy and executional discipline. She then transitioned to the financial services and payments sector in product management and strategy positions at premier financial institutions, including Standard Chartered and HSBC. Shalini is a results-driven product marketer and digital business leader with nearly 20 years of global experience in consulting, financial services, and payment tech. Welcome, Shalini, and thank you very much for being here today on this podcast. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Happy to be here, Akshay. Thanks for having me on Switched On.
Firstly, Shalini, I think the listeners are probably most curious as to why you do what you do. How did you initially become interested in this field or profession?
I wish there was a more intentional story to this. I had started my career in Arthur Andersen in India in the strategy, finance, and economics team. After 2 years, I decided to move to the US. During my consulting days, I really liked the work I did and the space I was in. So I looked for roles in that space in the US. I got the position with HSBC and decided to take it. Loved the payment space, so I stayed there. So what got me into payments is different from what kept me in payments.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself, such as your interests and general hobbies and skills?
Yeah, happy to. Aside from my day job, I'm also interested in investing in women-run businesses. So I'm part of an all-female angel investment group called APAC Angels. I also love to continuously learn, so ever so often I will take up courses in areas adjacent to but beyond my everyday work. Currently, I've been invited to join a board readiness program for women in tech by the Singapore Institute of Directors and Singapore Computer Society. Aside from the professional, I love to travel, see new places, and spend time with my daughter. Lots of it.
That sounds fun.
It is.
On top of that, do you have any personal advice as to what skills or qualifications are necessary to succeed in your position?
Skills, I would say be curious. Love what you do, and I feel the rest will follow. If you love it, you'll become good at it, and you will succeed. And if you don't love it, if you don't love what you're doing, try to make a change, and hopefully earlier in your career.
Yeah, that's valuable advice. Can you provide a brief overview of the role you play within the organization, and what are the main responsibilities and tasks you handle on a daily basis?
Sure. I'm the one responsible to ensure that all our members who want to pay for Netflix in Asia Pacific can. Payments shouldn't be the reason someone can't sign up for, nor the reason someone leaves Netflix. This means having the most seamless customer-friendly payment experience, having the right methods that customers want to pay with, and ensuring they work in a subscription model like ours. It also involves ensuring we are complying with the policies of the given market on payments, and then that we're doing that across all our markets in Asia Pacific, including India, Japan, Australia, and Southeast Asia, and many others.
How has being a member of the Asia Pacific Advisory Board for the Merchant Risk Council affected your career?
Yeah, it's the Merchant Risk Council, or MRC as we call it. It's a network of merchants and payments professionals. And for me, it's been a great place for us to learn from each other and share best practices and, exchange challenges that me and my peers in the industry face and, work together to tackle them.
Nice. Speaking of challenges, what are the biggest challenges you face in your role and how do you usually overcome them?
So in the payment space, APAC is interesting, right? It's a diverse and dynamic region,
Of course.
Especially from a payments perspective. There's a lot of innovation happening in this space, which is great. But there's also a lot of fragmentation, which makes it hard to leverage scale easily. Also, a lot of these payment methods are new, like the wallets, like the local payment methods, and newish, right, relative to cards.
Sure.
They don't work as efficiently for a recurring payment model such as ours.
Right.
So the challenge usually for me is ensuring we are offering a payment method that our members want to use, but also making sure that it works efficiently and seamlessly in a subscription model. It's not that easy, but we're working hard.
Of course, yeah. Are there any particular aspects of your job that you find especially rewarding or fulfilling?
Yeah, so innately I love problem solving. Innately, that's something that is that excites me in any role. Same goes for this one. I also, specifically in Netflix, I love the talent density in the organization. So working with amazing coworkers is exciting. They help kind of raise the bar. I love my team and watching them grow in their careers. I also love the fast and dynamic pace of payments in APAC and the innovation and the different opportunities. So many things to do.
Yeah. Can you describe any common misconceptions or myths about your job or industry that students may have, and perhaps debunk any?
Sure. As a student, Akshay, why don't you tell me what some of the perceptions students have about my industry, and I'll tell you true or false and help clarify.
Sure. Well, for starters, they may think that your job involves only working with Netflix. Some students might assume that the director of payments is solely focused on Netflix's payment systems and they don't collaborate with external partners ever.
Not true at all. Myth. We depend on a lot of external partners. Payments it sounds simple, but it's a fairly complicated flow, right?
Right,
of
yeah.
money movement.
Sure.
And there are many parties involved, including the card networks, including the wallet providers, including some of our payment service partners. And so, in fact, and also the regulators, right? Because they're the ones influencing and developing the policy. So, in fact, it's actually there's a lot of work we do internally with our engineering teams, our product teams, our design teams, but there's a ton of work, especially in region here, that we do with external partners, like the ones I've mentioned, right? The wallet providers, the networks, our payment service providers, and a bunch of them. So definitely a false on this one.
Yeah, so it's a wide range of people that you work with then.
Yes, it's very partner
dependent.
Focused and dependent, yes.
Sure. And also, some students may believe that you are involved in content creation yourself, owing to the fact that you work at Netflix. I think I might know the answer to this one.
Yes, definitely false. I wish I was, but not at all. I get, ever since I joined Netflix, I get feedback about our content, about what are the latest shows, about why people don't like what they're watching. So it's been interesting, but no, I don't work on the content creation side.
Okay. Another myth is that the director of payments is responsible for handling physical cash or managing transactions on a day-to-day basis, rather than focusing on the system itself.
Yes, false again. So, gosh, none of these are true. No, we're a digital merchant, right? We don't deal with physical cash at all, in fact. So the way you would pay for Netflix is leaving your payment method on file with us or providing to us, and we save that in a very, very secure manner, so that monthly we can charge the method of payment you provided us without you having to worry about it. And in none of those payment methods, cash is involved. Actually, we don't touch physical cash at all.
Okay, nice. For students wishing to apply for a job in your industry, what would you recommend as the degree they should aspire to attain? And what would you like to say to students who are considering a career path similar to yours, so that they can help avoid mistakes?
Sure. So, look, in the payments is an industry, right? Within the industry, there are many roles. You could be doing partnerships in the payment space. You could be on the engineering side. You could be on the product side. You could be on the design side. So it really depends on where your personal interests lie, and it goes back to what I said
Focusing
earlier.
on interest,
Yeah,
right?
and doing what you love, right? And so if you are more design inclined, you can still work in the payments industry, but in a design specific role. So there are many paths to get here. Liberal arts could be a path. We have engineers, lots of them, business majors. So it depends on which aspect of payments you're passionate about. Again, try and do what you love. The rest will fall in place. So just don't chase the degree, chase the passion.
That's a great phrase. In addition, do you recommend your field of work to students? And in the future, do you think it is a market that will grow or decline?
Yeah, I love it. I recommend it. I think a career in payments is evergreen. Commerce and the movement of money is something that will never disappear, right? With technology, it will grow and innovation will make it even more interesting and accessible than it is today. You see a lot more people trying to enter this space. You hear about embedded finance and, different people, adjacent businesses getting into the payment space. So it's a very interesting area. I don't think it's going to decline anytime soon. So definitely, I would recommend it.
Okay, cool. If you were to start your career over again, is there anything that you would change? And would you stay in the same sector?
So I had considered when I was younger being a doctor.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't go that path, and no regrets. I love what I do, and if I had to do it all over again, I would.
Nice. I see you also have a patent and you're an inventor. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, that also came about from being curious and trying to problem solve, both things that I love. I love problem solving, and curiosity is a skill I think that is essential for success. The patent specifically is in the payment space. It is around real-time payments, which is a rapidly growing area in Asia Pacific and now more globally. It stemmed from an idea and then evolved into something we could actually file a patent for, which is quite exciting.
Lastly, do you think you could share any resources or organizations that students can explore to learn more about your industry?
Yes, there are several industry newsletters you can sign up for. There are many leading payment companies that often publish insights and trends and reports on, what to watch out for in the payment space and how it's evolving. It's all available on their websites. That's a great place to start.
Thank you so much, Shalini. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I think this has been a really valuable experience for students.
Thank you so much for having me here, Akshay. It's been a pleasure.
No worries at all.
Well, that's all we have for today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
A big thank you once again to Shalini Khatwani for agreeing to be a part of this podcast. And until next time, this is the Switched On Podcast.